What happens when humanity's greatest discovery turns out to be its oldest warning? Just as Dr. Alara Voss deciphers an alien artifact, she uncovers a secret buried deep within Earth's core, something that could rewrite history or end it forever. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the sprawling metropolis of New Alexandria. In the heart of the city, Dr. Alara Voss stood in her dimly lit lab, staring at an artifact that had defied all logic. It was a relic unearthed from beneath the sands of Egypt, its surface etched with symbols no human civilization had ever recorded. Yet, it pulsed faintly, as if alive, emitting a soft hum that resonated deep within her chest. Alara had spent years deciphering ancient texts, piecing together fragments of warnings left by civilizations long erased from history. The Mayans, the Sumerians, even the lost tribes of the Indus Valley, all spoke of something hidden beneath humanity's surface, a secret so profound that its revelation could unravel the very fabric of existence. She traced her fingers over the artifact's cool surface, her mind racing. What were they hiding? And why had every great civilization warned about it? Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden knock on the door. Before she could respond, the door creaked open, revealing Marcus Kane, her colleague and closest confidant. His face was pale, his usual calm demeanor replaced by an urgency that sent a shiver down her spine. "Alara," he whispered, closing the door behind him. "You need to see this." He placed a tablet on the table, its screen glowing with images of star charts and cryptic equations. "I've been cross-referencing these symbols with astronomical data. They're not just warnings, they're coordinates, and they point somewhere unnatural." Alara leaned closer, her pulse quickening. The patterns matched constellations, but they shifted in ways that defied known physics. "If this is accurate," she murmured, "then we're looking at something beyond our understanding." Marcus nodded grimly. "And whatever it is, it's coming for us. We only just began uncovering the truth, yet the stakes are already unimaginable. Stay with us, because when Alara takes the next step, you won't believe what she discovers." The next morning, Alara found herself descending into the labyrinthine depths of the Global Historical Institute. The institute housed centuries' worth of knowledge, much of it classified under layers of bureaucratic red tape. But today, she wasn't here for permission. She moved swiftly through the corridors, her footsteps echoing against the cold marble floors, until she reached a restricted section marked by a heavy steel door. Using a keycard stolen from Marcus's desk, she slipped inside. The room was unlike anything she'd ever seen. A cavernous archive filled with holographic displays, dusty manuscripts, and artifacts encased in glass. Her eyes scanned the shelves until they landed on a peculiar object. A crystalline sphere suspended in midair, its interior swirling with colors that seemed to shift depending on where you stood. As she approached, the sphere emitted a low hum, similar to the artifact in her lab. She hesitated, then touched it lightly. Instantly, visions flooded her mind. Images of towering beings cloaked in light, their voices resonating like thunder. They spoke in tongues unfamiliar yet strangely comprehensible, warning of a force buried deep within Earth's core, a force that humanity had unknowingly awakened. Alara staggered back, her breath ragged. What she had witnessed wasn't just a message, it was a prophecy, one that had been echoed throughout history but ignored by those too arrogant to listen. Before she could process further, alarms blared, piercing the silence. Red lights flashed, illuminating the room in stark relief. Someone knew she was here. Footsteps echoed outside the door, growing louder with each passing second. Alara grabbed the sphere and sprinted toward a service exit, her heart pounding. As she burst into the alleyway behind the building, she collided with Marcus, who looked both relieved and terrified. "They know," he said breathlessly. "They've always known. We're standing on the edge of revelation. But time is running out. Trust me, you can't afford to miss what happens next." Back in her lab, Alara carefully placed the crystalline sphere on a pedestal, its glow casting eerie shadows across the walls. Marcus paced nervously, occasionally glancing at the security cameras mounted in the corners. "We don't have much time," he muttered. "Whoever triggered those alarms will be here soon." Alara ignored him, focusing instead on the sphere. Its swirling colors seemed to pulse in rhythm with her heartbeat. She activated a scanner, hoping to extract more information, but the device sputtered and died. Frustrated, she turned to Marcus. "What do we know about these entities? Are they allies or threats?" Marcus hesitated, then pulled up a series of files on his tablet. According to myth, they called themselves the Architects. Supposedly, they designed life itself, seeding planets across the galaxy. But there's another part of the legend, the part no one talks about. He paused, his voice dropping to a whisper. They also built failsafes, mechanisms to destroy their creations if they grew too dangerous. Alara felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you saying humanity might be expendable?" Before Marcus could answer, the sound of breaking glass shattered the tension. Both turned to see a group of armed men storming into the lab, their faces obscured by masks. At their head stood Director Evelyn Cross, her expression cold and calculating. "Dr. Voss," Evelyn said, her tone clipped, "you've meddled in matters far beyond your comprehension. Hand over the sphere or face the consequences." Alara clenched her fists, her mind racing. This wasn't just about scientific discovery anymore. It was survival. Without hesitation, she grabbed the sphere and dashed toward the fire escape, Marcus hot on her heels. The chase led them through the labyrinthine streets of New Alexandria, the city's neon lights reflecting off rain-slicked pavement. Alara clutched the sphere tightly, its warmth seeping into her palm. Behind them, the sound of boots splashing through puddles grew louder. They couldn't outrun them forever. "Where are we going?" Marcus shouted between breaths. "There's only one place they won't follow," Alara replied, skidding around a corner. She led him to an abandoned subway station, its entrance hidden beneath a crumbling overpass. Inside, the air was thick with decay, the walls lined with graffiti and rusted metal. They descended deeper, navigating tunnels that twisted and turned like veins beneath the city. Finally, they reached a massive vault door, its surface engraved with the same symbols as the artifact. Alara pressed her hand against it, and with a groan, the door slid open. Inside was a chamber unlike anything they'd ever seen. The walls shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, pulsing in sync with the sphere. At the center stood a pedestal, atop which rested a map of the world, but not as they knew it. Entire continents were missing, replaced by vast expanses of blackness. "This is it," Alara whispered. "The origin point." Suddenly, the ground trembled, and a low rumble echoed through the chamber. Something was waking up. The tremors grew stronger, shaking loose debris from the ceiling. Alara and Marcus exchanged a glance, their fear palpable. Whatever lay dormant in this chamber was stirring, and it wasn't happy about being disturbed. From the darkness emerged a figure, a towering being made entirely of light. Its form shifted constantly, impossible to focus on for more than a moment. When it spoke, its voice reverberated through the chamber, resonating in their very bones. "You have awakened that which should remain asleep," it intoned. "The architects left safeguards, but humanity has tampered with forces beyond its control." Alara stepped forward cautiously. "Who are you?" What do you want? I am a guardian, the being replied, created to monitor and contain the anomaly buried within your planet. Your kind has breached the seal, and now the balance is broken. Marcus interjected, his voice trembling. What happens if the balance isn't restored? The Guardian's light flickered ominously. Extinction. Alara felt the weight of the Guardian's words settle over her like a suffocating blanket. Extinction. The word echoed in her mind, each repetition carving deeper into her resolve. She glanced at Marcus, whose face was pale but resolute. They both knew what was at stake. Everything. What seal are you talking about? Alara demanded, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. And how did humanity breach it? The Guardian's form flickered, its light dimming slightly as if gathering strength to respond. Long ago, your ancestors discovered fragments of technology left behind by the architects. Fragments they did not understand. Over millennia, these remnants were misused, repurposed for war and greed. Each act eroded the barriers that contained the anomaly. Marcus stepped forward, his tablet clutched tightly in his hands. If we've caused this, can't we fix it? Isn't there some way to restore the balance? The Guardian hesitated, its luminescence pulsing erratically. There is one path, it said finally, but it requires sacrifice. Many will perish. Few will survive. Alara swallowed hard, her grip tightening on the crystalline sphere. Tell us what we need to do. Before the Guardian could answer, the chamber shook violently. A low, guttural roar echoed through the tunnels, growing louder with each passing second. Something or someone was approaching. We must leave, the Guardian urged. They come for you. Alara exchanged a glance with Marcus. Neither needed to say it out loud. They couldn't outrun whatever was coming alone. The trio moved quickly, navigating the labyrinthine tunnels with the Guardian leading the way. Its light illuminated their path, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Behind them, the sound of heavy footsteps reverberated through the narrow passages, accompanied by an unsettling metallic scraping noise. Who or what is following us? Marcus asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The Reapers, the Guardian replied grimly. Sentient constructs designed to eliminate threats to the architect's design. To them, you are a threat. Alara's heart raced as she processed the implications. These weren't just machines, they were hunters, engineered to destroy anything that disrupted the natural order. And now they had marked her and Marcus as targets. As they rounded a corner, a deafening screech filled the air. From the darkness emerged a hulking figure, its body composed of jagged metal plates and glowing red eyes. It lunged toward them, its movements unnervingly fast for something so massive. Run! Alara shouted, clutching the sphere protectively. They sprinted down the tunnel, the Reaper closing in behind them. Just as it seemed inevitable that they would be overtaken, the Guardian raised its arm, emitting a blinding flash of light. The Reaper froze mid-stride, its systems momentarily disabled. This won't hold it for long, the Guardian warned. We must reach the Nexus. The Nexus was unlike anything Alara or Marcus had ever seen. A colossal structure carved from obsidian-like material, it pulsed with energy that seemed to emanate from within the earth itself. At its center floated a swirling vortex of light and shadow, radiating waves of power that made the hair on their arms stand on end. This is the heart of the anomaly, the Guardian explained. It is here that the architects placed their greatest safeguard, a fail-safe capable of containing the anomaly indefinitely. But why does it look unstable? Alara asked, pointing to cracks forming along the edges of the vortex. The seal has weakened over time, the Guardian admitted. Each misuse of architect technology has accelerated its decay. If it collapses entirely, The anomaly will consume everything. Marcus frowned, studying the vortex intently. Can we reinforce the seal? Use the crystalline sphere or other artifacts to stabilize it. The Guardian's light dimmed further, its tone somber. It is possible, but only if one of you remains behind to anchor the process. Without a living conduit, the energy required cannot be channeled. Alara felt a lump form in her throat. Sacrifice. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Time seemed to slow as Alara and Marcus locked eyes. The unspoken question lingered between them. Who would stay? Who would give up everything to save humanity? I'll do it, Marcus said suddenly, breaking the silence. His voice was firm, though his hands trembled slightly. You're the scientist, Alara. You're the one who can piece together the rest of the puzzle. I'm just support staff. No, Alara countered sharply. I started this. I should finish it. Their argument was interrupted by another violent tremor. The Reaper had broken free of the Guardian's paralysis and was closing in fast. Its mechanical limbs tore through the walls of the tunnel, sending debris raining down around them. There's no time for debate, the Guardian bellowed. One of you must decide now. Alara clenched her fists, tears welling in her eyes. She couldn't let Marcus throw his life away, not when he'd risked so much to help her. But how could she ask him to make such a choice? As the Reaper burst into the chamber, its claws slashing wildly, Alara made a split-second decision. Grabbing Marcus by the arm, she shoved him toward the vortex. Go! I'll hold it off. Alara faced the Reaper head-on, her small frame dwarfed by its monstrous size. She held the crystalline sphere aloft, its glow intensifying as she channeled every ounce of determination she possessed. The artifact responded, emitting beams of light that struck the Reaper's metallic hide, causing it to stagger backward. Alara, don't do this, Marcus shouted from the edge of the vortex, his voice choked with emotion. It's the only way, she yelled back, dodging a swipe from the creature's claw. Activate the seal, Marcus. Now. Reluctantly, Marcus turned toward the control panel embedded in the floor. He began inputting commands, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. The vortex roared to life, its energy surging outward in concentric rings. Alara fought valiantly, using the sphere to create barriers of light that slowed the Reaper's advance. But she could feel her strength waning, the artifact draining her life force with each passing moment. Finally, the Guardian stepped forward, placing itself between Alara and the Reaper. Enough, it declared, raising its arms. A brilliant beam of light erupted from its core, enveloping the creature in a cocoon of energy. With a final, ear-splitting shriek, the Reaper disintegrated into nothingness. But the victory came at a cost. The Guardian's form flickered weakly, its once bright light reduced to a faint glow. My essence is spent, it said softly. Complete the ritual, child. Save your world. With trembling hands, Alara joined Marcus at the vortex. Together, they initiated the final sequence, their hearts pounding in unison. As the vortex roared with renewed intensity, Alara and Marcus braced themselves against the surge of energy radiating outward. The chamber trembled violently, cracks spreading across the obsidian walls like veins on a dying leaf. The crystalline sphere in Alara's hand pulsed erratically, its light syncing with the vortex's chaotic rhythm. Something's wrong, Marcus shouted over the din, his fingers flying across the holographic interface. The seal isn't stabilizing. Alara gritted her teeth, focusing all her willpower on channeling energy into the sphere. Her vision blurred as exhaustion threatened to overwhelm her. She could feel the artifact drawing more than just physical strength. It was siphoning her very essence, piece by piece. We have to hold it together, she yelled back, her voice strained. If we stop now, everything collapses. The Guardian, now little more than a faint outline of light, hovered nearby. You must anchor yourselves to the Nexus, it urged. Only then can the anomaly be contained. Marcus hesitated for a split second before grabbing Alara's free hand. Together, they stepped closer to the vortex, their bodies trembling as raw energy coursed through them. It felt like being torn apart at the molecular level, every cell screaming in protest. But slowly, agonizingly, the vortex began to stabilize. The swirling mass of light and shadow contracted, its edges smoothing out until it resembled a calm, glowing orb suspended in midair. It's working, Marcus exclaimed, though his voice was barely audible over the hum of energy. Alara nodded weakly, her legs threatening to give out beneath her. She knew they couldn't maintain this connection forever, but how much longer would it take? Just as hope began to flicker within their hearts, the ground beneath them shattered. Jagged fissures spread rapidly, swallowing chunks of the chamber floor. From the depths emerged another Reaper, larger, darker, and infinitely more menacing than the first. This one didn't hesitate. With a deafening roar, it lunged toward them, its claws slicing through the air mere inches from their heads. Alara stumbled backward, losing her grip on Marcus's hand. The connection faltered, and the vortex flared dangerously, threatening to collapse once again. No! Alara screamed, scrambling to regain her footing. But the Reaper was already upon her, its mechanical limbs pinning her to the ground. Alara! Marcus shouted, diving toward her. He swung the tablet like a weapon, smashing it against the creature's side. Sparks flew, and the Reaper recoiled slightly, giving him enough time to pull Alara free. Keep going, she gasped, shoving the crystalline sphere into his hands. Finish it. I'll buy us time. Before Marcus could argue, Alara darted forward, throwing herself at the Reaper. Using every ounce of strength left in her body, she climbed onto its back, pounding futilely at its armored surface. The creature thrashed wildly, trying to shake her off. Meanwhile, Marcus returned to the control panel, his mind racing. Without Alara anchoring the ritual, he had to find another way to stabilize the vortex. His eyes landed on the remnants of the Guardian, whose light was nearly extinguished. If you're still here, Marcus pleaded, help me. Tell me what to do. The Guardian's voice came faintly, almost drowned out by the chaos. Channel your life force into the Nexus. Marcus hesitated only for a moment before placing his hands on the panel. He closed his eyes, feeling an overwhelming surge of warmth and pain as his energy merged with the system. As Marcus poured his essence into the Nexus, the vortex stabilized completely, its glow softening to a tranquil blue. The chamber fell silent, save for the faint hum of residual energy. Exhausted but alive, Marcus collapsed to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He turned to look for Alara, his heart sinking when he saw her slumped against the wall, battered and bleeding. The Reaper lay motionless nearby, its form dissolving into ash. Alara, Marcus whispered, crawling toward her. He cradled her head in his lap, his hands shaking. You did it. You saved us. She managed a weak smile, her breathing shallow. Did we really? Marcus nodded, though doubt lingered in his mind. Had they truly contained the anomaly, or merely delayed the inevitable? The Guardian's fading light flickered one last time. Your sacrifice has bought humanity time, it said. But beware. The Architect's designs are vast, and not all secrets have been uncovered. With that, the Guardian vanished entirely, leaving behind an eerie silence. In the days that followed, Alara and Marcus worked tirelessly to document everything they had learned. They cataloged the artifacts, transcribed the symbols, and pieced together fragments of the architect's warnings. Yet, despite their efforts, questions remained unanswered. One night, while reviewing footage from the chamber, Marcus noticed something strange. Hidden among the bioluminescent patterns on the walls were inscriptions, messages written in a language eerily similar to the one etched on the crystalline sphere. "What does it say?" Alara asked, peering over his shoulder. After hours of decoding, Marcus finally translated the text. It spoke of a second anomaly, one buried far beyond Earth's reach. According to the message, this new threat was even greater than the first, capable of consuming entire galaxies if unleashed. "This changes everything," Alara murmured, her voice heavy with dread. "We thought we'd stopped the end of the world, but what if we've only delayed it?" Marcus placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Then we keep fighting. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." Months passed, and life in New Alexandria returned to normal, for most people at least. To the outside world, nothing had changed. But for Alara and Marcus, the fight was far from over. They established a secret research facility dedicated to studying the architect's technology and preparing for whatever might come next. Late one evening, as Alara stood gazing at the stars, Marcus joined her. "Do you think we'll ever understand why they built us?" he asked quietly. She shook her head. "Maybe understanding isn't the point. Maybe it's about surviving long enough to ask the right questions." Above them, a meteor streaked across the sky, leaving a trail of light in its wake. For a brief moment, Alara thought she saw shapes moving within the streak. Shapes that looked suspiciously like the Guardians. "Whatever happens next," Marcus said, breaking the silence, "we'll be ready." Alara smiled faintly, her resolve stronger than ever. Humanity had survived its first encounter with the architect's legacy. Now it was up to them to ensure it wouldn't be the last. Subscribe now to stay tuned for the next chapter in humanity's battle against the unknown. Will Alara and Marcus uncover the truth about the second anomaly? Or will their discoveries lead to an even greater catastrophe? Don't miss out on the journey ahead.